like that our pictures in the corner so they can see what kind of stupid stuff we're doing until the live starts.
Oh yeah, this is pretty smooth, man. I've always liked you guys.
You're one of few.
Pretty dope. Oh, dude, I fit along, so it's all good.
All right, everybody, what's up? Welcome to KBN Live. Coming at you on a Monday night. Ryan, fresh off the road. Well, we're excited to have a special guest with us tonight from the great state of Missouri up there. You know, I'm Jeff Malott. We got my partner Ryan Lambert, of course, like I said, just back from the Hobie event up on in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to pronounce that river. But we've got DJ Williams with us tonight. Yeah, I talked to Ryan a few weeks ago, and he'd had some conversations with DJ and talked about kind of the unique path he had to kayak fishing, or his background anyway for a kayak angler. So we're excited to have him on and talk a little bit about that. And if anyone follows DJ on social media, you know he's got some hot takes on just about everything. So, well, we're going to have some fun talking with him tonight. But so, DJ, thanks for taking the time, man.
Oh, man, that's what's up. Appreciate being on here.
AJ just called us out.
AJ's already asking. He's already asking where your music was at on the intro. He said he'd have to dig through it, AJ.
I straight messed that up. So before we start talking to DJ, we got to get Ryan's weekend recap from Pennsylvania. So Ryan, tell us about it. You ain't got to talk about yourself if you don't want to, but how was the event up there? All eyes were on that event. It seemed like it was crazy all weekend.
Man, it was as always. You know, AJ ran a top-notch event. I think there was a lot of emphasis on it because you know we keep talking about these big events in the Northeast. And it was kind of looking like we weren't going to get the turnout that we were hoping for there. And then, like, the last 24 hours was a huge push. And we ended up, I think, at 114 total. And the river was fishing tough. It was like, I think they said it was 2 feet low for what it normally is. So that kind of had the fish positioned, I guess, in some unlikely spots, you would say, for a summertime pattern. But of course, you know, the sticks, they found them. They sniffed them out. I was not in that category this time, but it was a good event. And that's probably as like one of the most dramatic settings you could have a kayak fishing tournament. It's the mountains and then these huge rocks shooting up out of everywhere and giant rock ledges that just run for miles. It was a pretty neat sight to see.
Yeah, man, it was intense following the leaderboard all weekend. And DJ, you had some bold predictions early in the week, and you picked quite a few of the top finishers, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did pretty good. I didn't do bad.
All right.
Do bad. I think everybody kind of put Queen up there though, so that's kind of, you know.
That's kind of a given. That's one of the ones you just put in there, no matter where it's at.
Yeah.
I think.
Jody had the experience on the Susquehanna, and then he also is Jody Queen, so he's gonna do well anyway. So if you put him in a place that he's already familiar with, it's kind of tough to beat that one.
Yeah, and then you interviewed Ike coming off the water too. He looked like he actually enjoyed his first kayak event.
So I saw him the Friday afternoon, the last day of pre-fishing. I had been fishing this area, and I was coming back to the ramp. I got caught in a lightning storm out there, and I was heading back to the ramp, and I see him backing down, and like the ramp had like a steep, like vertical drop down a couple feet into the river. So I guns it, and his aluminum trailer goes flying like 10 feet in the air. And I was like, holy cow. Like I thought he just ripped the axle off of it. He runs up, runs back down, jumps in his boat. And I was like, you about lost that trailer there, didn't you, Hot Rod? He's like, yeah. He's like, did you see it? He's like, it flew up in the air. I was like, yeah, I thought you knocked your back windshield out. He had 1 hour left, and he just like booked it. Like, I mean, he covered probably half a mile in like the 15 minutes I could see him.
So he was grinding.
He was gone.
He was grinding. He wasn't just there for the show.
That's what he said. So that's what he said when I caught him off the water. He's like, you know, managing my time pre-fishing. He's like, that's something that I am not used to at all. He's like, I'm used to being able to hit, 20 spots in my bass boat pre-fishing. He's like, so I've got to dial that in. He said fighting fish was a struggle for him too. He said he's used to having, all that square footage on his boat to run around and fight these fish. And he's like, yeah, I felt like the the fish was fighting me more than I was fighting it. He said it was definitely in control. Yeah, I mean, and that current is bad anyway, because that river is just constant. You have to keep churning to stay in place with it. So it was a challenge for a lot of people, but he did great. And I mean, super humble and had a lot of positive feedback on the tournament series. And he said he plans on fishing a few more. He's going to be at the Coosa for sure. He's got on the calendar.
He might as well. I guess BPT's done, so they're not doing anything else the rest of the year anyway. So you might as well saddle up.
That's what it looks like.
Well, cool. Well, yeah. Hey, and just as we can expect, Katie's in the comments with all of DJ's links. She's got oxpimpin.com and his Facebook page already linked up. So she's already spreading the word. So that's a little segue into DJ and let's talk about it. Tell us a little bit about your background, DJ, and how you got into kayak fishing.
Oh man, well, I've been a local recording artist for a while, probably a good 15, 16 years before I ever even got on the yak. And I was pretty popular, pretty successful at doing it. I wouldn't say, I was making a lot of money doing it, but, I could get into clubs free and get people to know who I am. And, I've been nominated for awards and, cool things. But, I mean, I've fished my whole life, really. My grandpa, who just passed about a week ago, he's the one who took me out on Mark Twain lakes and places like that. And I've always watched Bill dance and always had my mom dropping me off at the lake. So I've always been fishing, man. And I had an incident in 2017, I want to believe, where I ended up getting shot at, man. I got my whole side of my car. I had a car. It was a 2016 Dart, I think it was. It was nice to me, but I was happy to have it. Thing didn't even have 5,000 miles on it. And I had bullet holes all in the side of it. Never ran from anything in my life. Had to book ass out of there. And I ended up going through some mental stuff in my head, man. You know what I mean? I'm an alpha male. Never had to run. Never been one to actually, talk to another guy about guidance about anything. So I was going through some PTSD, man. I just resorted back to fishing. I'm like, man, I just need to get shit off my mind.
Yep.
So I fished. I literally started a 200-day fishing spree where I was just fishing. And I went back to some of the tactics my grandpa taught me about bass fishing, and it was working. So I thought I was the man at local lakes. I started getting a GoPro and putting it on my head and started promoting my 200-day fishing spree on Facebook. And I was catching some hogs, man. I was throwing a little bitty F7 Rapala on a jerkbait on a rod. And then I was throwing little KVD 1.0 square bills in little local lakes and just thinking I was the man, dude. I'm telling you, I was having some bomb days. And I was putting it on social media and people were telling me, hey, you need to get into tournaments. You need to fish out of tournaments. You're doing good. And I'm obviously me catching a lot of fish in local lakes that probably people weren't fishing for bass in, I would say. A lot of people were catfish fishing. So I'm probably throwing lures at past bass and haven't seen them. You know what I mean? And so I'm figuring like, okay, I'm going to get a kayak. It seems cool. I've been watching the KBF shows and I've been watching kayak fishing on the internet, and it looks kind of fun, actually. So I'm going to try it. Ended up getting a boat, fishing tournaments, and I think I finished 8th in like my first monthly. And then I ended up doing monthlies. I think I didn't start until probably June or so. So I fished monthlies. And I did good, man. I didn't do bad. I qualified for a national championship my first year, and I thought back then that was just like a rookie and not knowing anything about the sports. I'm like, yeah, I'm qualified national championship. I'm the man. You know what I mean?
That's profile pic changing stuff right there.
Yeah. So it just kind of rolled into that. And now, getting out there on the water and realizing that you're not the man all the time. And
That's step one. That's step one right there.
I thought I was going to jump off the bank and come out here and start destroying guys. And I think I finished 33rd my first live tournament out there at Cedar Creek Lake in Kentucky. And that's where I met Eric Siddiqui and AJ and Jody Queen. And what's so crazy about this whole sport is that, dude, those were the people that were nicest to me. I think Jay Wallen's one of the first guys that shook my hand and talked to me and was just super nice.
Jay probably has your album on repeat, if we're being honest. I'll go ahead and tell you that. Jay's probably a big fan, if I had to guess.
Oh, we're losing a little choppy signal there. We'll try and get him back. I don't know what happened. We were smooth.
Jay cut him off so he wouldn't tell on him.
Oh, there we go. Now you're back.
I think we missed you, brother. What would you say?
I said, I bet Jay's got your album on repeat anyway. And then he cut the signal so we wouldn't tell nobody.
Oh, I like that guy, man. Well, getting off the water there, Eric Siddiqui comes pulling in, and I automatically recognize him. Looking into the sport, and I mean, he's kind of one of the higher profile guys. He comes off the water like, "Hey, can you help me with my yak?" Hell yeah, sir.
Was it leaking?
Yeah,
was it getting water out of it? What were you helping him with?
I was just helping him put his yak on the trailer, pulling it off the water. But dude, that yak's got to be 400 pounds, man. Got to be 400 pounds.
It's the water.
There's 200 pounds of soft plastics in a garbage bag in his front hatch. That's not an exaggeration. He carries every soft plastic he owns in a garbage bag in the hatch of his kayak. That's why.
Oh, dude. I grabbed that kayak and struggled to pull this thing up, man. But it was so cool, man, coming to the meeting, and I'm walking around just trying to shake people's hand and introduce myself. I just got my butt whooped by everybody, you know what I mean? And the first person that walks up to me themselves and actually introduced themselves to me, like, you know, was Jody Queen. It was crazy. And yeah, till then I've been rooting for the guy and watching him win. I just think the whole sport's cool, and that's kind of how I got into it, man. And
So somebody got in the comments, Keith Perryman. I don't know if he's from Missouri or what, but he said y'all are having some weather up there, so that may be messing with our signal. I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely are. That's why I said I was going to do the interview on the water, but it didn't really cooperate. It's pretty bad out there.
I got you. Well, we're doing good. We can take a few breaks here and there if the weather makes it happen.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. So go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead.
No,
Jeff, you're too kind. So I think that's what you'll see a lot, especially the guys that travel around and fish all these tournaments on the road all the time. They try to get the newer people that are kind of fresh faces in the tournaments involved. Like, you know, when we go to big tournaments, we try to do some kind of meetup or something just to introduce some of the newer people to the guys that have been out on the road. Because, I mean, that's a big part of it. It's really intimidating, especially when you pack up all your stuff and drive 4, 5, 6 hours away and don't know anybody or anything about where you're at. I think, you know, that's something that our sport brings to the table is you'll run into somebody at a gas station or something with a kayak in the back of their truck and immediately, you know, you start up a conversation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's something we're missing right now. But even with that, I think people are still finding ways to. I'm assuming some of you guys probably got together in Pennsylvania, Ryan, outside of the actual meetup.
We might have. Yeah, dude, Russell Johnson cooked for us, man.
Ooh.
He put us on some barbecue Reubens.
Was it legit?
Yes. Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah, we may have a little bit of that in lacrosse. Neither one of you guys are going to lacrosse, are you, this week?
No, not this week.
Delta? No?
I'm over my mileage limit.
I got you.
for the month. I'm good.
I got you.
Lacrosse is tempting, though.
That's probably not as far for you as me.
No, it ain't that bad, but yeah, it's a little late. It's a little late. I got a tournament. I think I got a tournament this weekend. I'm fishing down on the Gasconade River, catching me some smallies.
I got you. Is it part of that Ozark smallmouth thing they got going?
It's part of that, and it's a camo tournament, I believe.
Okay.
Ran by, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you fish with that group there, Camo and Moyak. Those are two good groups that you kind of have access to. But now, do you live in St. Louis?
Yeah.
So what's the kayak fishing, world like around St. Louis? Is there a bunch of guys that do it or no?
Oh man, I know of a handful of guys, but like my buddy Keith Perryman in the comments, but I don't think he's starting to get into tournaments yet. It's a bunch of guys getting yaks around here, man. And I know some of them can fish. I just think they just need to jump into the tournaments. But there's a handful of guys that fish tournaments around here.
Okay. But is there a local club, or they just all reach out and fish camo? And
no, man. Mostly, but a lot of them lakes are still 4 or 5. I don't think there's a lot of really good tournament lakes around the St. Louis area. To be honest with you, you'd have to cross over there in Illinois.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I've only been up there a little bit. You got some pretty good rivers there in Poplar Bluff, but as far as tournament links,
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, there's some. I mean, Mark Twain's probably the closest one in Missouri, but it depends on how many people you're going to have in a tournament, too. I mean, there's not really big bodies of water. There's some decent sized ones if you're talking about 1,500 acres and 2,000 acres. But if you're talking about something that's going to hold 80, 100 people comfortably, then you're going to have to be down there in the Ozarks or something like that. Yep.
I got you. We got some people in the comments, some people talking about missing Russell's cooking. David confirmed your statement, Ryan, on the heaviest boat. Did you see that? He said he helped Siddiqui one time.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I grabbed it with one hand, like, come on, and then had to turn around. I was doing a squat motion. Like, yeah, it was rough. It was rough. I was honored to do it, though, because Siddiqui's the man, so it's all good.
He's in the Real Woman Yak kayak currently. He's got Jesse Mitchell's yak. He pulled up and it's got like her Instagram handle sticker on the boat. And Josh Evans is like, "Hey man, you get a new boat?" He said he was proud to represent, keep people looking.
What's up with that? He ain't got that one from Native yet? Okay.
Get out of here.
Oh, my bad. My bad. So DJ, what do you got coming up? You said you got something this weekend locally, but any big plans for the fall? I know it's going to be a cram fall as far as events.
Man, nothing really big. I think I got the I'm fishing with Moyak, so I think I'm going to ride out the trails with them. And I know that that you can qualify, and I think that's going to be in October. And I know we have the All-American out here that I'm pretty sure I'm in good shape to qualify for. But that's, I mean, other than that, I was planning on fishing the KBF National Championship, but the money's got to stop being funny right now, man.
I got you. It's wild times right now.
Well, it's just a lot of stuff going on, and as much as I love fishing, and to me it's a priority, but you have to convince my wife something else. So.
So what about your music? Are you still making music? I know you said you got a bunch of stuff piled up.
You know what? I dibble and dabble a little bit, and I got a lot of people in the music. Like, there's a lot of people in the local scene and that making moves now, doing pretty good, that are trying to bring me back and make me do it. And I get the vibe here and there, man. I'll get some beats and everything. But then I'll start looking up at lakes and thinking about the next tournament I'm fishing. It's kind of hard to do both, bro. It really is. And, like I said, I'm popular and I'm good at it, but it wasn't paying that well. And it's like, I think I enjoy doing it because I'm a booster and bragger and I like to look good, but at the same time, I think I have more strength when I fish, man.
Maybe you can drop.
I'm at more peace when I'm fishing, man.
Well, maybe you can drop some stuff that combines the two and like throw some shade on some of these kayak anglers or something. That'd be good.
Yeah. We'll pay you. We'll pay you to make us. We'll pay you to make us just an intro song. We'll send you a list of names to put in. You make us an intro song.
Well, the thing I like about fishing a little bit more than I like about music is, I mean, music, say if us three made music, you could be better than me, but if I'm more popular than you, I'm going to be more successful than you are. Even if I'm doing something that's goofy and you're more talented, fishing, it doesn't matter. You catch the bigger five. It's result based. And I love that about it versus music. Sometimes it's coming up and doing the local scene could be really frustrating and discouraging. You know what I'm saying? Especially for an artist that's talented and doing their thing and not getting the results they want. You know what I mean? Even though they're popular, it could be frustrating, especially you go to competitions and somebody beat you in the competition. You find out like their buddy's one of the judges, and it's like, you don't really get that in fishing. It's just kind of like the best man wins.
Sometimes you do.
It's kind of, hey, Ryan, that sounds like the music version of the Yak Angler Choice Awards, sort of, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you got into the music scene? Like, how did that come about? Just friends doing it that pulled you in? Or, I mean, were you always musically inclined?
I was in high school, and there was a bunch of rappers, and they would sit around. It was a certain lunch table that we would sit around, and there would be a guy with the pencils that can make the beats, and people would just freestyle, and then people would freestyle battle each other, And I always thought it was funny, you know. And then one day a guy just started dissing me, and I decided to start dissing him back. And I was thinking of rhymes in my head as I went along, and I basically was just figuring I was really good at joning. You know, I came up, that was self-defense. You didn't have to fight nobody if you can jone good, you know what I mean? Because nobody would mess with you. So I was good at joning. Only thing I did was, you know, add rhyming to joning, and I had everybody laughing. So I thought I was good at it and just kind of rolled with it. I had a friend that had a studio, and it went from there. And I was, like I said, I like being the man and thinking I was the man and making records and performing and having everybody look at me. So, you know, I kept liking to do that. As I got older, it kind of started getting old. You got to kind of stop. Like right now, you got to drag me out to a club, man.
You kind of outgrow that a little bit at some point. I think. I don't know. I'm still waiting, but.
Well, dude, I was a club promoter for a while. I used to promote Jello wrestling contests and bikini contests.
Oh, all right,
dude. I was in the club every weekend, man, and I just think after a while it got old to me. And then I can go to the club now and see the same people I used to see in the club. Everybody's still doing the same thing, and I was just like, I was kind of on. Plus, you get a good girl, she don't want you going out to the club.
Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
How to get rid of a good girl right there.
Right.
Keep on messing with that.
Right. But yeah, music's fun, man. Music, and you know what? I'm not done with it. I'm finna jump in and drop some records, and most of the time I do it just to let the other guys know that's doing it right now that, you know, the old guy still got it.
I like that. Now is your stuff available to stream on like Google Play or iTunes or any of that kind of stuff?
I think I got some on Google iTunes things because I was a hard-headed guy back in the day, and I was on iPhones, nothing. So I was just like, plus I came up from an age where we pressed up CDs, bro. Like we sold CDs at shows, and everything's digital now. Like, you know, and I got a website, oxpimpin.com, which you said somebody linked. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Katie and Secretary Katie hooked it up. Administrative assistant Katie.
She's cold. I don't know her yet, but thank you, Katie.
She was talking trash about my mustache earlier. I'm still kind of mad at her about that. But we'll let it slide for a minute.
Hey man, dude, hey, could you guys tell me? You know, I'm petty like this, so I gotta know. So who? It was somebody who, when you guys posted the interview, KBN, somebody laughed at it, but they obviously got me blocked because I couldn't see. I just want to know who it was. I got a good idea.
I saw who it was. It was some dude from Illinois. Patrick Tharp.
Pootie. Old Pootie.
Oh, it's Pootie.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought he was just playing. I didn't know. I thought maybe he knew you.
Hi, little guy.
All right. Throw something at him real quick. Let's hear it.
I don't have my pencil with me. Hang on. Jeff, hit the spoons.
If you'd have gave me three guesses, I could have guessed who it was. I don't block people, so if I laugh at somebody's stuff, at least they can see it's me laughing. That's all I'm saying.
Usually we get a laugh. We usually get a laugh from Jim Clark no matter what we post, but he didn't even laugh at that one. So
I like Jim.
You're one of five that do. No, everybody loves Jim in their own special way. You love him a little different depending on who you are, but you love him. Michael Pillman says, "Tell him how you hook the small fish versus the big fish."
Oh man, I fish with Michael Pillman all the time. So you know, it's for some reason you always lose the big ones. You always have the little ones, the big ones barely hooked, but the little ones you have hooked all the way down to their ass. I swear. You know,
you're right.
lying, man.
You're right.
You pull a 10-inch bass in, you gotta cut the hook off because it swallowed it. But then the 5-pound bass is barely hooked on the lip, man. I don't know what it is about that.
I usually get that little piece of skin right at the top of their mouth, and it's just barely through that. I lose a lot doing the same thing, but that's how that goes.
Oh yeah, that's what Pillman's talking about.
We got somebody asking, what kind of leash do you use for your fish?
Oh,
that's very specific.
No, yeah.
Schmidt.
I mean, it's the same leash everybody else. See, here's the Tharp guys from the Tharp is basically
Uh-oh.
a guy who claims that I fished during a tournament because I put him on the donkey leash for a second to let him calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, I had an issue with a club to where they were claiming I was leashing fish. So this is where everybody uses a donkey leash. It's the same leash everybody uses. That's kind of what it's for.
Yeah. Same thing. I've done the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder what that question was about. Don't come in here with that.
Yeah. Here's my thing, and I found out from being a rapper. If you ain't got haters, you ain't doing something right.
True.
That's how this page was built.
That's how this page was built. Some would say.
I actually enjoy it. You know.
Hey,
believe it or not, they'll watch it more than your supporters will. They'll support you more than your supporters will.
They got to know what you're doing.
Right.
You see it right now.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's all right.
When are you gonna hit the road full time in the kayak game? Chase down some of these.
I think I need to move into a little bit of I plan on moving out of the area I'm in, and once I get in a better area where I feel like I got better access to bigger lakes and I can move around a little bit soon as I can do it, man. I planned on it being this year, but I don't think this year turned out like anybody planned it to turn out. So
no, this year is not even going to count. If you ask me about my entire life, I'm just marking 2020 out altogether.
Let me throw this in there. Let me throw this in there. If you decide to move and you're not about your car getting shot, do not move to Guntersville.
Well, Ryan Southman.
It's rough down there. Wow.
And I think that's only if you like cut people off on their spots and crowd people out. You know, I think that comes with the territory. If you act right, your stuff don't get shot.
Oh, okay.
Except Steve-O's truck got burnt on Chickamauga, so I'm still waiting to figure. We're still got detectives out trying to figure out what happened there. But
maybe he thought his truck was that other guy's. I don't know.
I guess I don't know, man. He had a Scottsboro tackle sticker or something on there, probably.
Yeah. Well, there.
I'm not hip on what you guys are talking about. It sounds interesting, though.
Yeah, down the southeast,
guy,
man.
He's a FLW pro, and he's a guide on Guntersville. And I guess he's pissed off some local people on the lake, and they shot his truck up at the boat ramp. Like, literally, he thought it was – what did he think it was? He didn't think it was gunshots at first. He thought somebody hit it with a hammer.
Yeah. And
he peeled the wrap off. His truck was wrapped. He peeled the wrap off, and it was freaking bullet holes all down his truck.
Yeah, I heard him on Ike Live talking about it. He said, he goes, some guy at the ramp thought I had bullet hole stickers up down in my truck, but those are real bullet holes.
Yeah. No, thank you.
No thanks.
I mean, we've had people on Guntersville, like when we duck hunt down there too. Like if you beat somebody to their spot or whatever, they've gone back to the ramp and busted windows out of trucks and cut tires and stuff. But
wow,
I've never had any trouble down there in fishing.
You don't think of that kind of
Probably
stuff.
Will next time I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got plenty of choices, DJ. I hope you find a place as all this craziness in the country settles down where you can have better access to fishing. I'll recommend Northwest Arkansas, even though Ryan wouldn't.
What's there?
Everything.
I know guys that fish in Arkansas, man, and they it's some good fishing down there.
Yeah.
Don't go to Ouachita. Yeah.
I saw a little rumor that Ryan may come to Dardanelle this fall. Maybe DJ, you think you might make it to that one?
I'm definitely looking at it.
Yeah, come on down. That's not very.
What's your date? What's the date on Dardanelle?
September 11th.
Yeah, that lake sounds like my kind of fishing. Sounds like dirty water, hot water. I'm definitely looking into it. Plus, dude, I really want to support what AJ's doing, man.
Yeah,
yep, that's why I put all these miles on my truck. I don't even know why I went to Pennsylvania. I guess just to see all my buddies. I don't know. I knew that one wasn't going to go good before I left the house. I took a PA-14 360 to fish a river tournament. I don't think I thought any of that through, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, you put it through the paces. You know what it can do now.
Listen, I'm not a paid endorser of Hobie at all. I beat the hell out of that 360 drive. I mean, hitting rocks like wide open, going down rapids, drilled it. I did knock off some kind of nut on the clutch adjustment screw.
I think it's called a back nut. Back nut?
Something, yeah, I don't know. I felt like AJ was mad at me, but I couldn't tell from his text. But that was it, man. The thing held up good, so I'm not too disappointed because I had all my stuff in my boat. It was super stable, but in hindsight, I probably could have picked like a lightweight boat that was a little easier to drag up all those tiers of shoals that they have there.
Yeah.
Were you guys like shuttling for that event?
Day one, I single accessed and went up the river like 4.5 miles, like drug my boat, and it was by the Statue of Liberty monument. And I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of it. It's like it's a huge elevation change, but it's just massive, gnarly rocks. It tore that wrap all to hell that I just put on my boat. Like it was probably not the smartest thing I've ever done. But I shuttled with Aaron White the next day, and that was a lot smoother.
That had to be the way. Were they allowing you to portage and drag and all that kind of stuff because of the condition?
Yeah. So you could wade in this one, but you had to have a tether to your kayak, so you couldn't just like leave it and run off wherever. But yeah, you could drag across shoals and whatnot. It was cool. It was a real river tournament. I mean, this isn't like the rivers I'm used to that have like some kind of defined channel or deeper water in it. I mean, pretty much everything up there is like 0 to 4 feet deep, forever. And that river's like, it'll be 800 or 900 yards wide, and it's 3 feet deep the whole way across. It's nuts. I've never seen anything like it.
That's cool. I've always had it on my bucket list, but it kind of scared me off watching you guys go at it up there.
Yeah, it was on my bucket list too. Now it's off, and I don't know that it'll ever be back on. No, I do want to go see it when there's water in the river. I think it's going to fish a lot better. Without the water, it was really tough to get to where the fish were.
I got you. DJ, I want to get your thoughts on a few things since you haven't really been kayak fishing but 2 or 3 years now, that we always seem to argue about on different pages. I kind of beat to death, but I'd like to hear your perspective. So you fish from a Jackson? Or did I get that wrong? What do you fish from?
Yeah, a Jackson.
Is it a pedal drive or paddle?
It's a pedal drive.
Okay, so what do you think about the whole, pedal, like BOS is man-powered only, then some tournaments allowing motors. You got any thoughts on all that stuff?
I feel like if I ran a tournament, it wouldn't matter to me. And I don't really feel like it could be an edge, but at the same time, it can hurt you. You know what I mean? So I've been whooped by guys in sit-in kayaks. So it's like, some guys feel like it's kind of taken away from the sport, but I feel like the sport just kind of evolves too. So it's like, it really doesn't matter to me. I prefer the pedal drive so I can fight the fish at the same time. I still don't have to take my hands off the pole. I can get a good workout in while I'm fishing. But at the same time, in 10, 15 years, if my knees aren't feeling too good, I might want to get a motor.
I feel you.
I think the motor's good for covering water. I mean, I still think at some point, even if you're using a motor, like you said, for fighting the fish, like you have to do something to control the motor, unless you hit spot lock or something. But even then, like you're still doing something, like spot lock getting in your head. Like you have to take that hand off and do something at some point, unless maybe there's like an angler button or a spot lock button that you can mount on your reel handle. Jeff, that's what you need to come up with.
Angler,
Old Town,
partner up with Angler. No, we'll be all right.
No?
Maybe voice command. That'd be cool, like the GoPros. Spotlight now.
Yeah, it's nice just to backpedal a few times when you're putting a fish in the net and it's momentum's pulling you towards the laydown that you just caught them out of. So you know what I'm saying, I prefer the pedal drive. Plus, I think every pedal drive. I haven't tried a pedal drive that I'm like, oh man, this pedal drive's never going to go anything wrong with it. So I think every pedal drive's kind of got its pluses and minuses. But I really like the way
there's not one of them.
Yeah.
There's not one that nothing's going to go wrong with. Like
right.
That doesn't exist.
I like
there's a weak point in all of them.
I like the Jackson.
Yeah, when that design first came out, I was like, we see a lot of especially prop driven pedal drives they're kind of the same thing. I mean, it's a different orientation or you launch it differently or whatever, but they're basically the same thing. And Jackson did bring something to the table with that with the kick up thing. I think the worm gear part didn't work out super good for him, but I mean, I definitely think the innovation of, it flipping up into the hull and being able to go over obstacles, that was good. And then, Hobie came out with those kick up fins, which is along the lines of the same concept, just applied to their style of drive. Yeah, that's how this works, man. They all keep pushing each other. Somebody comes up with something new, and it gets everybody else thinking about how they can kind of push it a little further.
I like them old towns, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like the old towns. That autopilot, boy.
Yeah,
boy.
I'll be honest with you. I love my autopilot, and I'm going to use it up in lacrosse this week some. But it's still relatively new to me as far as how far I want to push that thing and get away. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to be away 8 miles from the ramp and trust that battery to get me back where I know I can pedal myself back. So I'm still getting used to it, but I do love the utility of the spot lock and if I can get on some stuff and stay in the current, for instance, this weekend and just lock on a little point, that's going to be nice. So that'll be the utility of it, but I still love fishing out of the pedal drive probably more.
Oh yeah.
What are you thinking about the Delta event, Jeff? All those guys that are out in California, they, fish all these tournaments. They'll have 160, 180 dudes at a local club event. Now there's 30 or something signed up for the
I don't
BOS.
know. I'm kind of I click around and check out these tournament entries just to see what the trends are, and it was kind of shocking to only see 30-something people. Now I know kayak anglers procrastinate.
Yes, they do.
I don't know about the California folks. I don't know how they do things out there. It's a little bit different, but I don't know if they procrastinate like the rest of us or not.
They got a busy schedule out there. They got some things going on, but I mean, the BOS is that's the premier. I mean, it is. It's the premier series right now. The Tournament of Champions is kind of like the crown jewel that you really have to work at qualifying. It takes a very limited number of qualifiers. And they're paying out huge to be a 50-person tournament this year. I don't understand why you would sit around and miss out on that. If you don't participate in these events, then those opportunities aren't going to come back around. And you think, maybe they're just trying to eliminate the BOS from coming back. But these other tournaments are going to look at that attendance too. If the people aren't going to participate in these big events, obviously Wild West Bass Trail's based out there. But BASS or KBF, or if anything in the future comes along, you want to know that there's that big event support before you try to get a couple hundred people to head out that way.
Yeah, I mean, I know BASS has the Clear Lake at the end of August. Mm-hmm. I wonder what the attendance is going to be there because I think I checked it was in the 20s or something, 20-something, 30 people, and they cut off 2 weeks before, so it's almost to the cutoff for it also.
Yep.
I wonder if that's just a matter of is that not a good target for them to chase? Maybe they don't want to travel all the way to Tennessee for the championship. I mean, I don't know.
That could be it. I don't know. I mean, I hope some of our boys out there, some of the Ship House crew, I hope they punch a ticket to the TOC and come on out to Knoxville. We're gonna have a good time. I know Shane and Cottrell are going out there to fish it. Shane, I don't want to jinx him. I think Shane locked up his spot for the TOC this past weekend. I think that's going to give him points to get in. But old Dave's going to have to swing for the fence, see if he can slide in here.
That's me, dude. I only got one under the belt. I only fished one. Didn't do that great. Finished in the 50s, I think. So I'm looking at Dardanelle. All the chips are in.
Yeah, I might
go to Dardanelle. I may try. I may see y'all there. I don't know. I mean, I qualified at Norman, but I just want some more points. I don't know why. I like to be in the top 25 or so in points just for my own peace of mind.
Hey, Michael Pillman just told DJ, he said, hey, tell him to bring more tournaments to Lake of the Ozarks.
Lake of the Ozarks is fishing good, man. I did way better pre-fishing than I did in the tournament, but it was fishing good.
Yeah.
That's how it usually goes, I think.
It was fishing good.
I was checking out the Bassmaster put out their top lakes of the decade in the central U.S., and it was Dardanelle was in there. Lake of the Ozark was in there. I think Table Rock was in there too. So, yeah, we got some good lakes over in this part of the country.
Now, I fished Table Rock this year early, and, dude, it was 22 feet high, record flood.
Yeah.
And, man, I've never struggled on a lake so bad in my life. I think I caught one fish and finished 40th out of 90 people. I think 20 something people didn't catch a fish. It was rough.
That sounds like the BOS we had on Chickamauga last year when it flooded. The river went up 10 feet overnight from day one. Well, I guess it was during day one was the rise of the river, and then day two was 10 feet over normal pool.
I remember the videos from that.
Nuts.
That was crazy. Some of the videos
that
y'all
was
were
nuts.
sharing.
Trees washing down the creeks on people. That like a 100 yards of dock broke off and floated down the creek on these guys. Like, it was bad. I think Fader was out on the bank and a tree fell like almost on him, like right next to him. That was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
We got some guys chiming in. Josh Booth from Moyak talking about Table Rock was crazy. That's all these White River lakes are like that. Bull Shoals, Beaver, they were all high.
Oh yeah, yeah. Table Rock was crazy, man. But I caught 90 inches in like 2.5 hours on Lake of the Ozarks just pre-fishing. I mean, and I think I caught a 19.5 during the tournament, and there was big fish caught throughout the tournament, and it was just fishing so good. I think Truman Lake is another lake here in Missouri that was fishing really good this year when we fished it. Booth runs a really good club. If you're in Missouri, you should definitely check out Moyak.
Oh yeah, Moyak's been around for a while. I know Josh, Eric Hansen, and Josh and Richie Lawfried. Some of those guys got it off the ground years ago, and Josh has kind of taken the reins and really done some good stuff with it the last couple of years. So yeah, good stuff.
Everybody in there is great. They'll all help you out. Super nice. I've never felt more at home with a club, for real. I love it.
Good.
Awesome.
I need to come up here and meet you and fish one of them tournaments because that's only about an hour and a half, 2 hours from here.
Oh yeah, man. We got some good tournaments, man. I think the last one we just did was on Taneycomo. I don't know if you've ever been on that lake, but man, what a unique lake. I mean, it's got a current. The water, it was 90 degrees outside, but the water was 50 degrees. And there was just weird epic fog coming off of it. It was really scary launching at night, but man, that was a fun lake to fish.
There's some big ones in there too. It's a trout, it's a trout fishery really, but there's trout wash down.
Yeah, buddy. I think there's a guy in our club. He fishes the monthlies all the time. I don't see him much in the live tournaments.
It's old Brennan Banks.
Dude, I think he set the record like 110 inches something in Missouri. That's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
That's nuts in Missouri. Nuts. I'm talking about averaging 22 inch per fish. Nuts.
He's a swim bait king up there, buddy. Swim bait king. That kid, he can catch him on that swim bait.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
Oh yeah. He's gonna have me swim baiting.
Yeah, I figured he was fishing Taneycomo or somewhere around there because I always see him on Instagram just loading those giants with those big glide baits and stuff.
He does it consistently too, so he can't,
He's a Midwest version. He's a Midwest version of Conrad Benetti in the onlines, isn't he, Ryan?
Get out of here, man! I ain't seen Conrad's name I've been seeing the KBB trophies going out. I ain't seen him in a minute. I hope everything's okay down there.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw Fellsmere I saw a picture with boats lined up down the damn highway.
Up, man. The kayak honey hole is gonna get some pressure now. It's gonna get drilled with bass boats. I hate that too.
Yeah,
but that's how it works. They pay their license fee too.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. This guy wants to see a tournament on Lake Eufaula in Alabama. Somebody else mentioned that last year.
Robbie, you may not be too far off base on that one. I would say keep an eye on next year's schedule. I don't know who's going to do it, but I bet you'll see one of the big shows coming to town on that one. That's been on the list for the last couple of years for sure. Yeah.
We had BASS on last week, and they weren't going to make any more opens. There may just be 5 again.
That's kind of what John was saying.
But AJ, I'm sure there'll be at least 9 Hobies next year, right? So that's between the two. That's 14 big events you can target.
AJ keeps his ear to the ground pretty good. I mean, you see some posts like that, then you know it's coming.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, the options we have now are far and away better than they were just a few years ago. Oh, Todd Patrick, stay tuned. I don't know what that meant. I don't know if he's talking about KBBT.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay. Everybody.
KBBT's hosted an online event on Eufaula.
Oh, okay. Is that he guarantees one on Eufaula, he says.
Ooh, Ooh, okay.
Todd Patton. If you're referring to anything KBF related, I don't believe you.
Is the rumor has it no? Is there going to be no KBF next year? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know.
Man.
There's rumors. There's more rumors swirling about that than the COVID. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Hey, wear a mask either way.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Keep you safe.
Yeah, man. Any more comments out there? Let us hear them before we let DJ get out of here. It's been a fun interview tonight. I knew it would be. Can't wait to get up there and meet you, DJ. I had, a lot of these people we talk to online, and I follow you on, social media, obviously, but half the people I don't meet till we get to a tournament. Right now, you're hardly meeting anybody at tournaments because of all the restrictions.
Yeah. I'll probably see you at what is it, Dardanelle?
Yeah.
Dardanelle? Is that how you say it?
Dardanelle.
I've been looking at it on the map already, man. I've been wanting to fish it. I talked to AJ after the last event down there in Susquehanna, and he's like, "Dog, you got to come out." And I'm like, "I know, I want to." So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna definitely check that out and try get in a position where I can come out there.
All right. Well, we got a bunch of guys, like you said. Garrett and Ben, some of those guys in Central Arkansas. There's plenty of us that are available to help anybody coming in town to find someplace to stay or whatever. So y'all just hit us up if you're gonna make that trip.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for coming on, DJ. We appreciate it. You're a character as always. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Good job.
Hey, appreciate you. Much respect to both of you guys, man. I can't wait to meet you on the water. And yeah, man, you guys got we're gonna run across each other for sure. I'll probably see you at Dardanelle. Yeah. I was hoping to see you at Gunnersville, but
you come to I live 15, 20 minutes from Gunnersville. If you end up making it, give me a call and I'll show you where some fish are.
All right, cool. We'll do that. It sounds like a plan.
All right, DJ. Well, man, that was an awesome interview and a lot of fun. Katie dropped the links to some of his music if y'all want to check that out. And, of course, you can hit him up. I'm sure he'd accept your friend request as long as you have a profile picture and not some funny name. And you can,
Wait, who was it? Who was it we got to get you accepted by? Was it Russ Snyder's?
Russ already, as soon as we got off the thing, that's my boy. That's my boy now.
Yes. Good. We're making connections.
Oh, wait a minute. All right. Kate's dropping the links in there. Jim Clark said he's bunking with me at Dardanelle. We have not confirmed that, so don't put that in the bank. But, yeah, we're going to let you get out of here, DJ. Appreciate it once again. That was a blast. Ryan, stay safe, brother. I know you're going to be back to work, and we'll talk to you all next Monday.
Peace out.